MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to a special presentation of Ways to Pay for College. I'm Carrie Kavanaugh and I'm here live at the Maryland Public Television Studios. This year's program comes at an unprecedented moment for higher education as colleges and universities across the country cope with the impacts of COVID-19. Meanwhile, the future may feel uncertain for Maryland's current batch of high school seniors as they begin their academic year in virtual classrooms. Despite all of the unknowns, if you're looking to attend college next year, now is the time to figure out how you're going to pay for it. That's where we're here to help you. Tonight, in just a few minutes, we'll hear from experts about everything from filling out the FAFSA form to applying for scholarships and getting aid as an undocumented student as well. But since the financial aid journey is different for everyone, we also encourage you to email us your specific questions at college@mpt.org. A financial aid professional will get back to you personally, and you might even hear your question on the air. You can also visit our website, mpt.org/college, after tonight's broadcast to stream this program anytime, or to RSVP for our interactive screening on September 30th. At that time, we'll have financial aid advisors available to answer your questions in real time via live chat. But for now, let's get started with our co-host Mario Armstrong. Back during pre-COVID times, Mario took a trip to the amusement park to explore the roller coaster that is financial aid.
Do you ever imagine your future and wonder, how am I going to fit in and what career path lies ahead for me? There are many cool careers you can prepare for, whether you're a high school student or an adult ready for something new. But to get into those jobs, first you have to go to college, and that's going to cost you some money. The good news is that there are billions of dollars of financial aid that you can apply for.
There's also a lot of information on how to get those billions. Enough information to make you dizzy.
I'm Mario Armstrong, and I'm here to keep your head from spinning. Going to college is like life, full of twists and turns, as well as ups and downs.
Join me for an adventure on how to find money to pay for the higher education you want. We'll talk to the pros and hear some student success stories and help you think about what school is right for you, what fits your budget, and do the financial aid numbers add up?
Hold on tight and enjoy the ride, because we're going to show you ways to pay for college.
Ways to Pay for College is produced in cooperation with the Maryland Higher Education Commission and was made possible in part by a grant from the United States Department of Education. Additional support for this program is provided by the Eastern Shore Higher Education Center.
If there's one thing that can get your heart racing, it's thinking about your future and how to achieve your goals.
To achieve those goals, you need proper training. And there are plenty of colleges that could be just right for you. But it seems like every year, the cost of college is going up, up, and up.
Am I really going through with this? Maybe I am crazy.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
Of course you're going to make it. Now take a deep breath and relax. And if you're worried about paying for college, you're not alone.
But before we get to talking about the green, let's get real about you for a moment. You want to go to college, but do you know what you want to do for a living yet? And does the cost of the colleges you're interested in make financial sense for your career?
I think it's important that before a student takes a look at the financial aspects of financial aid is really kind of ask themselves, what is it they want to do? Are they looking for a big school, a small school? What are the types of programs they're looking for? So that when they get to figuring out how to pay for the school or the program that they're looking for, they have an idea of what it is they want to do and how to get there first.
There's a lot to think about. What school to attend, what you'll study, and how much financial aid you'll be eligible for. Will you need to get a student loan too? And should you?
Recent reports say that student loan debt has topped $1 trillion. That's trillion with a T.
We've all been hearing a lot about the student loan crisis, and for the students that have a lot of debt, it definitely is a crisis for them. At the same time, what a lot of people don't realize is that almost 1 out of 3 students graduate with no debt. So people have a choice as they're thinking about college, as they're deciding what college to go to, how much it will cost, how much they're willing to spend, and how much debt they choose to get into.
A student should first contact their financial aid administrator at the institution they're planning to attend. Ask them questions pertaining to student loans on what amount of money they actually need in order to attend that institution. So that way, they're only taking out the amount of money that they need in order to attend and not an excess amount, which will increase their student loan debt when they graduate.
How are you going to pay for college? It's time for some research. There are many places online that you can access right now. But don't forget the old school way, simply talking to someone.
I always suggest to students to speak to their guidance counselor in their high school. They can chat with the financial aid office at a college that they're considering attending. If they have a mentor or someone that has been instrumental in encouraging them to go to college. If you put all of those opinions and input together, it can give you a really good blueprint of where to look for information. And your parents can be alongside of you while you're learning these things as well.
Well, there are a number of ways that students and their families can find more information on college and financial aid. The Maryland Higher Education Commission offers a free service where we come to college fairs, college night and FAFSA nights, and provide a presentation on college and state financial aid programs.
Websites are key to research. The federal government's main information page on financial aid is located at studentaid.ed.gov. For Maryland residents, visit the Maryland Higher Education Commission's main website at mhec.maryland.gov. And there are others, such as fastweb.com and finaid.org.
Okay, so you've got a plan of action, you have a list of schools you want to apply to, and you've done all your research. So where is this magical money going to come from? There are 4 primary sources.
They are the federal government, your state government, the institution to which you are applying, and private sources, such as corporations and nonprofit organizations.
Federal, state, institutions, and private. So the question is, where do you get started? The FAFSA. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and it can be found on a website that's easy to remember, FAFSA.gov. It's the first step in applying for financial assistance.
The application itself is comprised of both demographic information, so biographical information, name of the student, social security number, date of birth for both the student and for the parents, if the parents are filling out the FAFSA as well, and also financial information. So the application takes a look at a combination of different factors, both family size, income, all of that information, and it comes out with a result for what a student is going to be eligible for federal financial assistance, and that figure is also used for state funding or sometimes for institutional funding.
For those students who are not familiar with the process, and you may be a first-generation student or just completely oblivious to the process, it can be overwhelming. But the best thing to do is to take the time to read everything through before you actually complete the whole entire process and click submit.
Remember, that first F in FAFSA stands for free. Now look, there are other websites out there preying on your need for money, so make sure you're on the right site.
Students should not be paying somebody to help them fill out that application. The Department of Education website has a lot of information and helpful tips as you're completing that application, frequently asked questions. But if students or families are having difficulty filling out the FAFSA, they really should be reaching out to colleges or universities or even their guidance counselors.
My name is Antonio Gardner. My name is Antoine Gardner. We're twins. I knew I wanted to go to college when I was in 11th grade. I have an interest in technology, so I kind of want to go into computer engineering, but I also have a love for people and business. In addition to my brother, I also wanted to attend college, but I knew that the cost of college was more than what I personally could afford. Student loans were not an option for my brother and myself. We made it a mission of ours to inquire and receive as many scholarships and grants to cover the cost of our tuition. My search for financial aid began when I was getting ready to enter into my senior year of high school. my advisor introduced the entire senior class to the FAFSA. We got a preview of what it was and what it would contain and what we had to do to fill it out.
We sat down and we filled out all the information. I got all the information I needed from my parents and provided all the information I would need to fill it out successfully.
Antoine and Antonio were great. They completed their FAFSA the first day that it's available. They were able to qualify for state aid, additional federal aid. They reached out to their delegate and senators and were able to complete scholarships through them. They also came into the financial aid office and received federal work study through the institution and were able to get additional money doing that.
If we click in cell G13.
Those who are trying to obtain money for college should not give up hope because their money is available to them.
I love working with students, especially like Antoine and Antonio, who are on top of their stuff. They get it done, and we're able to help them as much as possible. When a student is on top of their stuff, we can help them out even more.
Hello, I'm Carrie Kavanaugh, and we hope you're enjoying our special presentation of ways to pay for college. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you're definitely not alone. Finding money for college can be a confusing process, but stick with us tonight and we'll help you figure out what steps you need to take to make your college dreams a reality. If you have questions about a specific situation or you're just completely confused by the FAFSA form, we can help with that too. Email us at college@mpt.org and we'll either answer your question on the air tonight or a financial aid professional will reach out to you with help. Plus, you can stream this program anytime at mpt.org/college in case you want to revisit anything we've talked about tonight. Now, let's go to Goucher College in Towson for this year's live broadcast. Throughout the program, guests will be stopping by campus to share their insights on the financial aid process. And our first expert did not have far to travel. I want to welcome Goucher's Vice President of Enrollment Management, Jonathan Lindsay. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Well, first, as our viewers at home may be able to see, Goucher's campus is certainly quiet tonight, more so than it would usually be at the start of the school year. When did Goucher make the decision to go totally virtual for the fall semester?
We made that decision at the end of July after a lot of consultation with experts in the field. Not a decision we made lightly, obviously.
Okay. Since in-person interactions are so limited right now, what's the financial aid team there at Goucher doing virtually to help students access funding opportunities?
In many ways, we're doing exactly what we would have done in person. So for our own students, we're obviously answering individual questions through email, through chat sessions. We also have our financial aid office is also part of many of our admissions presentations where we are presenting Goucher College and how to apply for financial aid at Goucher. And then finally, we are also available as a resource for local high schools and community-based organizations in terms of financial aid presentations where we talk about financial aid in general rather than at Goucher specifically.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay, what would you say to people who may be too intimidated by the cost of a private college to apply somewhere like Goucher?
I think my advice would be to not be afraid of the sticker price. Many of our students pay, in the end, an amount much less than our published tuition and fees. So I think applying to those colleges, applying for financial aid, going through the process, and ultimately understanding what your net cost would be.
Okay. So what percentage of your student body receives financial aid, and what kind of aid do they typically receive?
So almost all of our students receive some sort of financial aid here at Goucher. We utilize those four sources that was mentioned in the film clip earlier in terms of federal aid, state aid, institutional aid, and then outside scholarships. Mm-hmm. Those can come in the form of merit scholarships. They can come in the form of need-based grants. They can come in the form of work-study awards, or finally in the form of student loans.
Okay. Now, say that you're a college freshman currently and you've already filled out the FAFSA during your senior year of high school last year to get financial aid for this year. Do you have to fill it out again?
You do, and that is a federal requirement. So each year, each of the 4 years you're at Goucher College, you would need to fill out the FAFSA form as the place to start.
Okay. Now, what if after applying for financial aid, a student finds that their personal circumstances have changed? A lot of us right now, are experiencing changes in work schedule because of COVID, for example. Some parents might be dealing with that. So what if they find out they can't afford their school of choice? Can they appeal for more aid at a later date?
They certainly can, and there is a process to do that at the federal level. And for us as an institution, we're certainly very sensitive to the difficult times that many families are facing right now. So yes, you can appeal, explain your extenuating circumstance. What is it specifically that is the issue? We may come back with a few more questions, but in the end, we are able to respond to those sorts of needs.
Okay, great. Can you tell me more about Goucher's institutional scholarships?
Sure. So our institutional scholarships come in two forms. Institutional funding comes in two forms. One, merit scholarships, and the second, again, need-based grants. So for our merit scholarships, we have a tiered process where a student, based on a holistic review of their application, may end up with one of 6 tiers of scholarship. Those range from, at a minimum, $12,500 annually, and as a maximum, $33,000 annually. And these are renewable each of the 4 years that you might be with us.
Okay, good information. Here's a question from a viewer who asks, do you recommend that students start by applying for scholarships and grants, or should they start with the college search itself by deciding which colleges they want to apply to?
I probably would suggest that they do that in tandem, so that you are applying both to colleges and pursuing the financial aid opportunities at those campuses. So again, with the FAFSA form that's been mentioned a couple of times, you have the ability to list a number of schools, so you can have your information sent to multiple schools, and I would really encourage that. And see the process through so that, again, in the end, you find out what the net charge is for each of those institutions.
Okay, good advice. How much student loan debt does the average Goucher student graduate with?
I think our student loan debt for our graduating seniors is somewhere around $30,000. A lot of what we talk about, though, when we talk about student loans is to really think through your return on investment. So yes, that is a lot of money, but what are the monthly repayment rates, and what ultimately are the advantages of a degree in the workforce? And there's all sorts of information that we and other institutions can provide to talk through really a smart decision about how much debt, what's the career choice, what are potential salaries for those careers. So it's a conversation.
Okay, Mr. Lindsay, and we're running out of time, so our last question is, what advice do you have for someone trying to figure out what they can afford in terms of a college education?
I think I'd go back to a comment I made earlier about pursuing multiple options. So as you're thinking about colleges, maybe pick up a private institution such as Goucher, but perhaps also look at a community college, a state school. Again, follow the process through so that you can understand the net costs. That's obviously not the only decision when selecting a college, but it is a major component. And I guess one other last piece of advice, there was a comment earlier about taking time to pursue this. I think that is key. This is a big decision, lots of options, lots of information, and worth really taking the time and investigating.
Okay, Goucher's Vice President of Enrollment Management, Jonathan Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Now remember, if you have any questions about any aspect of the financial aid process, please email us at college@mpt.org and someone will reach out to you personally. If you're confused about what information you need for the FAFSA, when you need it, or where to look for scholarship opportunities, our experts can help. And we might even answer your question on the air tonight. You can also visit our website, mpt.org/college, to watch the program again online anytime. Joining us next on Goucher's campus is Donna Thomas, Director of Student Financial Assistance at the Maryland Higher Education Commission, known as MHEC. Thank you so much for coming out to talk to us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by talking about the current class of high school seniors, class of 2021. They're having, of course, a very different senior year than anyone expected, attending virtual classes from home with no sports or social activities and no real in-person help planning for their futures. So where can these students turn for help with the financial aid process?
Excellent question. Even though we're dealing with unprecedented times and individuals in school right now are trying to navigate the process to prepare for college, they can also still utilize some of their old existing resources, such as their guidance counselor, researching their websites that offer state and federal financial aid assistance programs, such as the FAFSA or the Maryland Higher Education Commission website. Even though we're also working virtually, we are still planning to hold a series of virtual workshops where we'll be able to communicate with students with regards to available state financial aid resources that they can definitely take advantage of next year.
Okay. All right, great. So you just touched on my next question, which was, how are you reaching students again since you can't be in person this year? So let's move on to our next question. In a normal year, what would you typically highlight when you're having that conversation with aspiring college students about the most important thing to do as they're filling out the FAFSA form?
The most important thing to do when filling out the FAFSA form is to first read. Make sure you're answering all the questions clearly. Make sure you include all institutions that you plan to attend or interested in attending, so that way each of those institutions can receive your information in order to determine your financial aid eligibility, as well as do outside research. What I mean by that is seek third-party resources that can offer additional financial assistance in the event that you don't receive enough aid through federal or state or institutional resources. And also take advantage of our state website. We offer more than 20 state scholarship and grant programs that students can utilize in order to pay for their educational resources.
Okay, so back to the FAFSA form for a moment. Filling out the FAFSA is a huge part of the financial aid process. Should everyone fill it out, or are there exceptions?
Well, the FAFSA is for individuals who are U.S. citizens or eligible non-citizens. The state of Maryland has a separate application for undocumented students who can be considered for state financial aid, and these are students who are ineligible for federal aid. So we encourage all students residing in the state of Maryland and undocumented to take advantage of the Maryland State Financial Aid application, and they can complete that online through the Maryland Higher Education Commission website.
And are there any major differences between the FAFSA and the MISFA that you just mentioned?
The MISFA is exactly like the FAFSA. Applicants are required to report their income information, their demographic information, just as they would on the FAFSA. The difference is that the information is being reported to the state of Maryland instead of to the federal government.
I see. Okay. There are a lot of state financial assistance programs that MHEC offers. Tell us about those and what students need to do to take advantage of them.
Yes, we do offer several different types of scholarships. We offer need-based scholarships, which students can utilize if they have demonstrated need. The largest scholarship that we offer on the need-based side is the Guaranteed Access Grant, where we provide 100% of the student's need. So that means that students who are eligible can receive up to $19,400 to pay towards their educational expenses. In addition to the Guaranteed Access Grant, we also have the Maryland Community College Promise Scholarship. This scholarship is specific to individuals who plan to attend a community college in the state of Maryland, and we offer them a last dollar award that pays for any unmet tuition. And then we also have our career-based programs or unique populations where we offer scholarships that are specific to veterans, so that way they can also take advantage of state support to pay for their educational resources. So I encourage all students interested in receiving federal or state resources to check out the FAFSA website, and for our state resources to check out the Maryland Higher Education Commission website.
Okay. Now I know that one of the scholarships MHEC offers is actually designed to target the teacher shortage here in Maryland. How does that work?
Yes, we do. We offer the Teaching Fellows for Maryland Scholarship, which is specific to individuals who are planning to become teachers in the state of Maryland. That particular scholarship covers tuition, fees, and room and board for individuals who are eligible. The requirements that the individual can be either a high school senior, an undergraduate student who's already enrolled, or even a graduate student. And they can complete the application online to be considered for the award. And then the requirement is that they must plan to teach in the state of Maryland upon completion of their degree.
Okay. Here's a question we received from a couple of viewers. Let's say you're a parent getting ready to help your child fill out the FAFSA form and you're divorced or separated. How do you determine which parent's information to include on the form?
Yes, if the student is applying and the parent has just gone through a recent divorce, the student should use the parent's information in which they currently reside with on the FAFSA application. And that is the information that they will report and the institution as well as the state would use when determining their eligibility.
Okay. What is the biggest piece of advice that you have for students currently navigating the financial aid process amidst all the uncertainty of COVID?
The biggest advice that I would give to anyone planning to attend a higher education institution in the fall is to do their research, ask questions. I know that we're dealing with a pandemic and different times at this point, but all of the resources are still available. Students can still reach out to their institutions through the financial aid office and ask questions. They can still contact us at the Maryland Higher Education Commission. They still have access to their high school counselors. The more information that they can gather and the more avenues that they can contact to ask questions, they can easily navigate through the process. And with that smooth transition, they'll be able to know ahead of time the available financial resources that they have to pay towards their education.
Okay, thank you for that great information. Now, before we rejoin Mario at the amusement park, take a second to think about what questions you have about finding money for college, and then open up your laptop or pull out your phone and email us at college@mpt.org. Financial aid professionals are standing by to help, and remember, this show is also streaming online at mpt.org/college. Next, I'll be talking to the Director of Admissions from the Maryland College with the lowest in-state tuition. But first, Mario's back to tell you all about the FAFSA process.
When can you fill out the FAFSA? It becomes available on October 1st. And for Maryland students wanting Maryland state aid, it must be completed by March 1st. Now, in most cases, financial aid is actually awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. And so the earlier you apply, the better your chances are for getting a good financial aid package. If you submit your FAFSA on March 2nd, well, you might be missing out.
Deadlines are very important, especially when you're trying to apply for state financial aid. Also, deadlines apply when you're planning to attend institutions. Some institutions have certain deadline dates for institutional scholarships. So in the event that you don't stick to those deadline dates, you are ineligible for a lot of additional scholarship money that you can receive towards your college education.
Now you're staring at the FAFSA on your computer screen, and you see that you need the income information for both the student and parents. Now this can easily be found on your tax returns. But which ones? Last year's, this year, and who has their taxes done in October? It might sound confusing, but bear with me. You need to report your income information from the tax year 2 years prior to the academic year you're entering school. So, if you're filling out the FAFSA this October 1st to enter school next fall, you can use last year's taxes. Got it? If not, for more details, go to studentaid.ed.gov.
Once the student and the parents complete the information that's on the application, the application is processed by the Department of Education, and once they've processed that information, they send it electronically to the schools, so the schools have a copy of that information and can reach out to students if they need any additional information.
So you just fill out the magical FAFSA form, and the money rolls in, and you go to college, right? Not yet. When you fill out the form, it tells you what your family can afford. Now, this is called the EFC, or Expected Family Contribution. Schools subtract the EFC from the cost of a year of education. The difference is considered your financial need. Now, each institution will use this information to determine your eligibility for federal and state financial aid programs.
It takes between 3 to 5 days for them to completely process your application, and then it's submitted to the institutions that you list on the FAFSA. In the event you want to review the information, you also receive an email copy of your FAFSA, and it's your time to go in and review it to make sure there are no errors that you need to update or change in order for your information to be accurate.
Starting to sound complicated? Don't sweat it yet. Like many software programs, the FAFSA has helpful hints that pop up where students and parents can click on for help.
There's a built-in edit check process in the application. If there are questions that appear to have been answered incorrectly, sometimes the application will go back and ask the student, is this correct, or are you sure about this information? you absolutely do have the opportunity to go back in and make updates or corrections to the application, even after it's been sent to those individual schools.
After completing the FAFSA, you'll find out if you're eligible for federal grants as well as state grants if you meet your deadline date. As for Maryland students who aren't eligible for federal aid, like undocumented students, there is an alternative to the FAFSA, the Maryland State Financial Aid Application, or MSFA. Like the FAFSA, the MSFA becomes available on October 1st.
The Maryland Higher Education Commission offers various scholarships and grant programs, such as need-based, legislative, career, and occupational. Students should visit our website to receive additional information on all of the various scholarship programs that we offer.
Maryland residents will also have to sign up for MD-CAPS, the Maryland College Aid Processing System. This is the state's financial aid system that allows them to process state scholarship applications. And it also provides you a way to monitor your aid status.
You can sign up for an MD-CAPS account at any time. I would suggest certainly doing it before you begin applying for any state aid. MD-CAPS overall gives students a snapshot of their activities with regard to the state scholarships that they've applied for. It shows when disbursements have been made and notifications of what they might still have as outstanding documents that are needed.
What do you do next? It's time to see if you also need to apply for other financial aid opportunities you researched earlier. By the way, you did do that, right? These include grants, scholarships, and if necessary, private or personal loans. When talking about student financial aid, a lot of words get tossed around as if everyone immediately understands them all. Scholarships, loans, grants. Let's start with grants. What are they exactly?
Grants are free monetary gifts to help pay for a college education. And unlike loans, they do not have to be repaid. The most common type is the federal Pell Grant. Another is the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, which is awarded to undergraduate students with exceptional financial need, and Pell Grant recipients receive priority. Full and part-time students may qualify. Not all institutions participate in this program, so contact your college financial aid office for more information. There are also several other types of grant programs available from the Maryland Higher Education Commission, such as the Educational Assistance Grant and Guaranteed Access Grant.
The Guaranteed Access Grant is for Maryland's most needy students. It does come with an income requirement, so students and their families should visit our website to determine if they qualify. The state offers over 20 financial aid programs. The Howard P. Rawlings Educational Excellence Awards, as well as the Maryland Legislative Scholarships, are among our most popular programs.
Another way to get money for college is through scholarships. And like grants, they don't need to be repaid either. Scholarships are generally given to students with special qualifications, such as academic, artistic, or athletic talent.
Your Maryland delegates and senators have scholarship funds to award, but you must contact their office directly. If you don't know who your legislators are, you can find them online at mdelect.net.
Scholarships can take many different types of forms. You could have scholarships that are academic scholarships. It could also be based on an athletic talent, or also it could be based on a unique skill or merit.
There's a huge number of scholarships out there for you to investigate. They come from places like foundations,
hospitals,
the National Institutes of Health,
religious organizations,
technology companies,
the American Association of University Women, the United States Congress,
insurance companies,
Department of Defense,
international groups,
the National Science Foundation,
engineering firms,
credit unions,
U.S. Department of State,
presidential programs,
seafood organizations,
the beef industry,
vegetarian groups.
And there are many more, so do your research. Where can you get a scholarship from? Let's see what this student found.
I'm Liz Winters, and I'm studying industrial organizational psychology. After I served in the military for 12 years, I returned to school and I had to figure out how to finance not only my education, but to manage my home finances as well. I had 2 children who needed to go to daycare, and I needed to find some other options. I used the post 9/11 GI Bill, and that covered my tuition and my books and gave me a little bit of money to pay my rent, but I couldn't use that money to pay for things like daycare. One of the strategies that I had in funding my way through college was to talk to people. I didn't know how to navigate this on my own, so I started networking on campus. I started finding my places on campus that I felt comfortable with and started asking the staff and the faculty that were sitting in those areas to really help me find my way through college and develop my career path.
Liz has never been afraid to ask for help. I think so often non-traditional students will be afraid to make waves, but instead Liz really asked for help. She sought out the Women's Center and became really a close friend of the center and was able to share her stories. And as piecing it together, I was able to realize that a scholarship that we provide would be a really great fit for her and her family.
So the scholarship that I received was the Newcomb Scholarship. It was for returning women, which are defined as women who are older than 25 returning back to get their undergraduate degree. When I found out that the Newcomb Scholarship would allow you to use this money for whatever you needed it to be used for, I was really excited to know that this scholarship was actually perfect for me. I could use it for daycare for my children. I could use it for, gas money. I could use it for all of the extra little things that go along with funding your educations. For me, finding scholarships that addressed what I needed, I really didn't think they existed, but the more I looked, the more I realized that this scholarship really was looking to fill those gaps that I exactly needed to be filled.
Welcome back. I'm Carrie Kavanaugh, and we're here with a special live edition of Ways to Pay for College. We've covered a lot of ground so far, but we know we can't cover absolutely everything. So if you feel like your questions have not been answered yet, send them to college@mpt.org, and a financial aid professional will get back to you. Now, I gave a hint earlier about our next guest. He's the Director of Admissions at the Maryland College with the lowest in-state tuition. Joining us on location at Goucher is Dr. Jason Morgan of Baltimore City Community College, also known as BCCC. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. BCCC has the lowest in-state tuition in Maryland at just $110 per credit hour. But during this current semester, you've actually committed to offering free tuition to eligible students. Tell us how your school is able to do that right now.
Thank you. Baltimore City Community College, we are proud to be able to offer the free tuition to our students by packaging available financial aid with existing institutional scholarships to offer the cost for our students.
Okay. And can students applying for financial aid for next fall take advantage of some of these programs?
Fortunately, many of the resources that we're utilizing to be able to offer this free tuition this fall will be available next fall, and we'll look to package them in the same type of way.
Okay. So for students trying to decide where they're going to enroll next year, what are the benefits of choosing a Maryland community college like BCCC?
Well, Maryland community colleges are the backbone of the state. They offer resources to the community in the community. At Baltimore City Community College, we have been serving our community for a number of years. So students are able to take advantage of a high quality, affordable education from dedicated faculty.
Okay. And I know that the state also offers some scholarships specifically for students who attend Maryland Community College. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Absolutely. One of those scholarships is the Maryland Promise Scholarship. It is an amazing scholarship offered through the state of Maryland to eligible students for in-state tuition, where they can receive up to $5,000 towards tuition costs at a Maryland State Community College.
Okay. Now, does BCCC offer any institutional scholarships?
We do. We have a number of programs. One of our programs is the Mayor's Scholars Program, which is a partnership between Baltimore City Community College and the City of Baltimore, where the city is able to provide resources to graduates of the Baltimore City Public School System to give them resources to go to school at no tuition costs.
Wow, that's an amazing partnership. You also have a program that allows high school students to get a jump on their college education. Tell me about that and how it can help a family cut down on college costs.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. This is one of the programs we're most excited about. It's our dual enrollment program, where actually current high school students are able to take advantage of taking college-level courses in their high school taught by college instructors, where they gain valuable experience in the college atmosphere and actually earn college credit that they can apply later after they graduate.
Wow. And I would imagine right now, logistically, it might be easier than ever to do that as everything's virtual. Now, community colleges attract both traditional, non-traditional students, we know. Are the financial aid opportunities different for non-traditional students, like someone who decides to pursue a degree later in life?
Thank you for asking. This is one of the biggest misconceptions with financial aid. Financial aid, the process is the same for traditional students and non-traditional students. So for any non-traditional students out there that is looking into financial aid options, apply. It's the same process. They walk you through the process and it's pretty simple.
Okay. You say the word simple, but I know a lot of students right now are feeling overwhelmed by the whole financial aid process. So what is your best advice to try to get through it as painlessly and effectively as possible?
I would say this, start the process. There is a common misconception that by applying for financial aid, you accept financial aid, when in fact the process is very different. When you apply for financial aid, all you're doing is seeing what you're eligible for. It's your choice. You choose what you want to accept, and you choose what schools you want to send that aid to. I hope you choose Baltimore City Community College.
Okay. Does your school offer any resources or support services to help guide students through the process of paying for college?
We do. We have an amazing staff of admissions and financial aid professionals who are dedicated to providing resources for our students. So if you have any questions, visit our website at www.bccc.edu and one of us will assist you.
Okay. And we know that so many families are feeling stressed right now with so much uncertainty with COVID. So what personal message would you like to make sure that our viewers take away tonight from this interview?
I would say this. The process to start school can seem daunting. However, there are resources available to you, and Baltimore City Community College has a 70-year history of offering resources in our community to our community. We have, as I mentioned before, a high-quality, affordable education taught by dedicated faculty members. So do this. If you have questions, ask. Our staff is standing by to answer your questions. If you have admissions questions, ask. If you have financial aid questions, ask. Visit our website. We are here to service you. We are here to help you through this process.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Morgan, for all of that helpful information, hopefully helping a lot of families breathe a sigh of relief tonight. And we know that it's a lot to digest. So if you still have questions, don't panic. You can email us your questions at college@mpt.org. And if we don't answer them tonight, a financial aid counselor will contact you with help after the show. Now, if you're looking a little bit farther down the line than fall 2021, in just a few minutes, we'll hear from an expert on how to save for college over the long term. We'll be right back with that after we check in with Mario about more ways to pay for college.
And finally, the elephant in the room, or the amusement park. Student loans. This is the biggest question on student minds today, and it's really important. How much should you borrow, and will you be able to pay it all back?
When families are considering taking out a loan for school, they need to be looking at their overall financial situation. Think of it the way you would buying a car. Most people don't walk on the lot and say, well, we'll take any car at any price, no matter how much we borrow. Folks will make a value judgment. So you want to do the same thing when it comes to college. How much can you afford from what you've saved and maybe what you can pay out of your current earnings? How much debt might you take on? And then how much will that affect the future for you or your children if you've given up that income in the future because you have to service that debt? To get a sense of how it might affect you, calculate what your monthly payment would be. A lot of people don't do that. If I take on this much debt, what does it mean in terms of how much I'll have to give up in the future? So consider those trade-offs when you're deciding how much debt to take on.
The federal government provides loans for college through the Stafford Loan Program for students enrolled at least half-time. Direct loans may be subsidized or unsubsidized. Subsidized loans are need-based, so the government pays the interest as long as you are enrolled at least half-time. Unsubsidized loans are not need-based, and you are responsible for all of the interest that accrues on the loan while you are in school. Another is the Federal Perkins Loan, a low-interest option for undergraduate and graduate students. There's also the Federal Direct Plus Loan, a low-interest student loan program for parents of undergraduate dependent students. Now, with a PLUS loan, families can fund the entire cost of a child's education minus other financial aid awarded. Parents are responsible for all the interest that accrues on this type of loan.
I am Sonia Williams. I'm a 4th semester nursing student at Anne Arundel Community College. The fact that I came into it so late in life did worry me. I'm not young. I did have 4 kids, and I probably have 20 years on some of the kids that are in the program. So, I mean, it's a little scary. It's a little intimidating. Initially, I paid for college myself. I was only taking 1 or 2 classes at the time, so tuition wasn't a big burden. But getting into the nursing program, you have a lot more fees. You're taking more classes that may cost a little more money.
Just going to take a look at your feet.
Did you find out if I'm supposed to have my digoxin?
So I've got financial aid, student loans, and then fortunately, Anne Arundel has a lot of scholarship opportunities. So all you have to do is submit a little questionnaire, and then the financial aid office kind of matches you up with which scholarship would work best for you.
Sonia Williams is not our typical student in that she really came to us with already having completed a bachelor's degree. And she completed the bachelor's degree, but then wanted to go into our 2-year nursing program. She was eligible to take out guaranteed student loans, but the combination of the loans that she's going to take out, the Maryland part-time grant that she's getting, and she's getting some institutional scholarships that are for the nursing program, then she's got a financial aid package that's meeting her financial needs.
There's no reason for you never to go back to school. I am very nervous about graduating, but my training, I think my schooling, everything I've learned through Anne Arundel's program has prepared me. So hopefully I will do well and keep my fingers crossed that I do.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Carrie Kavanaugh, and this is a special live presentation of Ways to Pay for College. If you're just now tuning in, don't worry. You can stream the show from beginning to end anytime at mpt.org/college. And it's still not too late to send in your financial aid questions to us at college@mpt.org. Now, so far, we've heard a lot about scholarships, loans, and the FAFSA form, which are all ways to pay for college now. But if you're thinking ahead, maybe planning for your child's future college education, you may be considering opening a college savings account. Here to talk more about that is Michelle Winter from the Maryland 529 Plan. Thanks for joining us tonight, Michelle.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So in a nutshell, what is a 529 plan?
So a 529 plan is a tax advantage plan that allows families to save for higher education expenses and help reduce their reliance on student loans.
What are the advantages of opening a 529 account for your child versus contributing to a traditional savings account for college?
Sure, there are tax advantages to a 529 plan. So if you open up a Maryland College Investment Plan or a Maryland Prepaid College Trust, you are eligible to take an income deduction of up to $2,500 per account or per beneficiary from your Maryland taxable income. There's also tax-deferred growth on your 529 plan, so all your earnings are federally and state tax-free as long as you're using them for eligible education expenses.
Okay. Now, I know that there are 2 different types of Maryland 529 plans. Can you talk me through the differences?
The Maryland Prepaid College Trust is a contract plan, so you are securing future tuition at today's prices. So you can purchase 1 semester of college, 1 year of college, a 4-year plan. You can even purchase community college plans. With the college investment plan, it's similar to a 401k where you're deciding how much you want to invest, how often you want to invest, depending on what your risk tolerance is. And that money then will can be used for future education expenses, such as college tuition, as well as apprenticeships and trade schools, as well as K-12 tuition.
Okay, so what if you open a prepaid college trust plan for your child and they end up going to school out of state? What happens to the money?
You can still use your plan to pay for your tuition and mandatory fees out of state. You will receive either the weighted average tuition or the minimum benefit, whichever is greater.
Okay, good information. Now, can this money be used for anything other than college? You just touched on other school fees that it would cover. Can you reiterate that?
Sure. So with the Maryland College Investment Plan, you can use your plan to pay for college tuition as well as room and board, books, supplies. You can also use it for certified apprenticeship programs as well as trade and technical schools. And you can use up to $10,000 per year per beneficiary for K through 12 private school or religious school tuition. With the prepaid college trust, you can use that for your tuition and mandatory fees at any federally accredited college nationwide.
Okay. And can we again touch on specifically what the tax benefits are for these plans, the 529?
Yes, with the Maryland College Investment Plan and the Maryland Prepaid College Trust, if you have Maryland taxable income, you are eligible to deduct up to $2,500 per beneficiary in the college investment plan and $2,500 per year in the prepaid college trust per account. And then any additional money that you have invested that year, you can carry over into the next tax year, even if you don't make a contribution.
Okay.
And again, the plans are tax deferred.
Okay. Wonderful. Now, here's another viewer question. What if you or your child plans to attend college in the next year or two? Is it too late to start a 529 account now?
We like to say it's never too late because every dollar saved is one less dollar you have to borrow. With the college investment plan, adults can use the plan too. With a prepaid college trust, your child must be in 12th grade or younger to open that plan, and they have to be enrolled at least 3 years before you can start using your benefits. But no, it's never too late.
Okay, good to know. Can you tell us more about the state contribution program?
Sure. The state contribution program is designed for lower and middle income families to get a jump start on their college savings with a $250 or $500 contribution from the state. Now, you have to apply for this program. The application period will open on January 1st of 2021 and run through May 31st of 2021. And you have to make sure that you don't exceed the household income limits. So you cannot make more than $112,500 as an individual or $175,000 as a joint couple filing. However, if you go to our website at maryland529.com, you can find out more information about this program.
Okay, great. We've talked so much about the FAFSA application tonight. How would having a 529 account affect the FAFSA application process?
So if you are a parent and you're the account holder of a 529 account and your child is the beneficiary of the account, your assets in your account could reduce your student aid package by 5.64% of your assets value. So for example, if you have $10,000 in your 529 account, your financial aid package could be reduced by up to $564. So it's a small amount of money that would that's accounted for. However, the benefits of a 529 between the tax advantages that you receive and the income deduction could far outweigh any kind of anything with reduction in your financial aid package.
Okay, so wrapping up, what if you can't afford to make big contributions to a savings plan? Is it still worth having one?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, every dollar saved is one less dollar you have to borrow. And the college investment plan, it's just $25 to open up an account.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Michelle Winter from the Maryland 529 program, for all of that helpful information on saving for college. We're getting ready to wrap up tonight's program, but if you still have questions, we've got you covered. Email your questions to us at college@mpt.org, and a financial aid advisor will reach out to you after the show. You can also join us next Wednesday, September 30th, for a special interactive online screening. Viewers will have the chance to chat live with financial aid professionals while watching an encore of tonight's program. You can find all the details and RSVP on our website, mpt.org/college. And if you just can't wait until Wednesday, you'll also find a link to stream the program anytime. Before we go, I'd like to say a final thank you to all of our guests, especially to Goucher College for hosting them. I'm Carrie Kavanaugh, and now we'll send it back to Mario for his final checklist of all the ways to pay for college.
Have all your notes ready to go? If not, just in case, here's Mario's map of the ways to pay for college.
Before you make the trip, think to yourself, what do I want to do? And what college is right for me? Meet with a high school or college financial aid advisor. Go slowly down Research Street. The more research you do, the more likely you're to find different sources of financial aid. Organize your financial records, including your income taxes. Sign up for the Maryland College Aid Processing System. Fill out the FAFSA and all online forms accurately, consistently, and completely. Apply as early as you can for federal, state, institutional, and private funds. Meet all the deadlines. Respond as quickly as possible. And keep those grades up. Some financial aid can depend on it.
We know this was a lot to absorb, so every link we mentioned and even this program can be found on our website. Are you ready for your own set of twists and turns and ups and downs? Well, maybe not that many downs, right? Are you guys excited?
Yeah!
Absolutely. I'm Mario Armstrong. Good luck, hold on, and enjoy the ride. You got this now. You got this.
Ways to Pay for College is produced in cooperation with the Maryland Higher Education Commission and was made possible in part by a grant from the United States Department of Education. Additional support for this program was provided by the Eastern Shore Higher Education Center.
This program is part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen. A public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.